Hello and welcome back to part 32 of Citizen Sleeper. It's a new day. It's a new dawn. It's a new life. And we are going over... What are we doing? We have people to help, basically. Whether they want it or not. Apparently we are helping them. Which is more virtuous than I feel like I am right now. If people refuse my help, I'm not gonna then keep helping them. But we are more kind and virtuous than I am in this game, so that's fine. What we want to do today is try and help these dust houses get into the next phase of help by using these two really good dice here to fill out this bar. So let's do it. I don't think there's a better way of spending these right now. We know we have finished 1/3 of this, of helping the flotilla, but there's still these 2/3. And the second third, which is the Song Moon, is a lot closer to being done than this third. Like, the other third is 2/3 done. This third is 0/3 done. Are you sick of hearing about thirds yet? That's okay, because now it's 1/3 done. And I'm presuming that each of them has 3 phases. I don't know, I've just made that up. Right, let's talk to Aki? Yeah. I see you've been contributing. Aki stands next to you at the dust house window. I was unsure what to expect when we joined the flotilla on its voyage to the Eye, but after the journey across the system, and then the quarantine, and then the flux reaching all the way out here too. Aki stops herself. Thank you. She bows a little. The other ships have only been interested in sending us supplies, but we grow all we need. She gestures at the dust house. What the dust houses need, that's the problem that concerns us. She smiles and turns to you. Shall we go inside? I don't think she would be suggesting if it wasn't safe. Let's just say into the dust house ? I want to know why we want to go inside, because I don't know what's in there. Where else? She taps away at a panel by the window. Seems only fair that after you help with the support systems, you get to see what it is that you're maintaining. Aki leads you to an opening besides the window. You pass through a dark changing room. You notice Aki is sliding on an oxygen mask and visor. There it is. Yeah, I knew it. She looks like... She looks at the swirling dust inside. Inside, it is just like Ember's Step. Thin atmosphere, constant dust storms, nothing that will bother you. She passes you a mask. The dust isn't exactly pleasant to inhale, however, so take this. I mean, I still think... Do I not have some fake lungs? We could still get clogged up. You hold it to your face. She leads you... Maybe we don't have fake lungs, I'm not sure. She leads you through a short decontamination tunnel with its fizzing panels of purifying light, and then through into the dust house. Immediately the wind and heat hits you. You feel the rough waves of dust scattering across your face and peer through the amber murk. Your feet slide on shifting piles of sand. Welcome to Step, or an emulation of it at least. Aki's voice sounds distant, echoey. The terraforming process only managed to provide a limited atmosphere around the moon, one which is slowly escaping. It's been like that since I was born, so I got used to the idea. You catch her bright eyes through the amber dust. So did everything else that lives here. You feel something hard beneath your feet, beneath the sand, like a coil of rope. Look down, or what is under the sand. I would like to ask, there's creatures in here. What is under the sand? That is steppe silk. It's one of the plants we established on Steppe. She kicks away some red sand. Like any bast fiber, it can be retted and woven into cloths, I'm wearing some made from it myself. Oh, it's not creatures then. It's flora, not fauna. It's one of many species adapted to steppe since the Solheim collapse, which is why it must be preserved. She stares out onto the swirling dust. It is as much a refugee as we are, and the dust house holds hundreds of other species. Hundreds? Okay. You look at the pale, unassuming root, threaded thickly through the sand. Aki watches you silently. Had enough? It will be easier to speak outside. So they have literally brought like some parts of each species that they have got established. They're not just bringing this system for no reason. It's to preserve these things. Lead you back through the decontamination tunnel. Blast the dust from both of you with a burst of metallic tasting air and into the changing room. Aki hangs up both her masks, patiently awaiting your questions. I understand bringing the plants. Especially they're already self-sustaining this ship. I want to know what happened on this step, but I'm gonna ask about the plants. These are more than just plants. This is our way of life. Aki looks exhausted. The steppe silk cannot survive in any other conditions. Neither can the others. And steppe itself. Aki pauses, pulling her shawl around her. She looks small and pale inside its layers. Steppe was already a doomed world, she sniffs. When Solheim gave the terraforming contract to Cybele, they believed they could build an atmosphere, but the moon's erratic orbit made it impossible to maintain. By the time of the Solheim collapse, the atmosphere was already fading, and Cybele's attention was on Ember Half. After the collapse, Cybele fell too. Its researchers scattered across the moons, and any central organization was lost. It's just, what's crazy about it is that there's still people living there then. It must have been a long-term project, even though it failed. You would think that once they decided this terraforming is not working, it's impossible, they would have evacuated and not had time to establish plants and stuff. Since then, my parents' generation worked tirelessly to survive, to adapt what we had to the failing moon. The steppe silk, the other adapted species, are the life's work of the steppe's colonies. So when the flux started to collapse our computer systems, corrode and destroy our life support, our water supply, our agriculture, we had to leave. Aki sits heavily on the nearby bench. Soon the only traces of steppe will be on this ship. Aki begins to cry quietly. You're unsure what to do. I don't think she knows where the flux came from. I kinda just want to sit beside her because she's crying right now. You know? You sit on the bench beside her as she sobs. You understand why this ship, why the refugees from steppe, are so different. Their world was already dying when the flux arrived. Ember's steppe is a terraformed moon, a partial atmosphere, established colonies, agriculture. And yet, when the flux event started, its people had to leave. You think of the eye and the delicate web of decaying systems it rests upon. What hope does a ruined station have against a wave that corrupts, corrodes, and collapses? Aki interrupts your thoughts, rubbing her eyes. Not everyone left. There wasn't room to take all the people and fill the dust houses. My parents, their friends, and many others stayed, she sniffs. We carry the steppe for them. God damn, that's a lot of people stayed behind. It doesn't feel so much like these guys leaving people as the other people telling them to go or something. Perhaps there's hope? That's terrible. I shouldn't have said that. I don't even believe that. Like, there might be, but it's not really a comfort when you face, like, what the consequences are. We learned not to talk of hope on a dying world. It was a very ignorant thing to say. There is meaning for them, and any future they can build with the time they have. She stands up. I wanted you to understand the importance of these dust houses, of what they contain. She leads you back out into the corridor. If the flux events continue to reach out to the eye, we need to build protections to ensure their safety. Aki meets your eye. I can help. Wait, what about what, people? I definitely want to help build protections. What about the people? This is basically a museum, like, of the rarest kind. Aki looks away. We aren't idiots, Sleeper. We chose to carry this burden. We will survive. I don't understand what I asked and what that meant. These dust houses are already decaying. I have seen it. She stares into the dust. We had thought they would last longer, but that last flux event. Help us. Aki looks at you. Please. I will. When you are ready, we will begin the preparations for reinforcing the dust houses. We need to be ready for the next flux event. Aki's eyes shine with the last of her tears. She takes a breath. I will see you later. Aki drifts down the corridor, leaving you alone once more at the viewing window. Once more at the viewing window, watching ragged, delicate traces of the moon, known as Ember's Step. This is such a horrible situation for everyone. I'm glad we now have the insight into these dust houses. It's pretty cool that it is exactly like a greenhouse in that it's like a contained, controlled environment that gives something exactly what it needs to grow and survive and thrive, and in this case it's the desert. Right, hold on. So what's this then? New things. Step Silk Care. This one's +3, this one's +2. Let's see. Oh, these are all +2s skill-wise, so we have so many places to put our 4s. That's really good. Improving the dust houses isn't the only way to sustain the Step Silk. With intuitive care, the plant can be made more resistant. Okay. I mean, we know people that, like, I feel like, oh, what's her name? I've forgotten her name. My adopted mother. Oh, god damn it. The botanist lady. She would love to come out here and see this, I feel. Right. Dust house shielding. Aki has devised upgrades that will protect the dust houses from both flux and their slow decay. She needs you to help implement them. Awesome. And then preservation. If the dust houses are to preserve their closed biomes, they will need shielding against the flux and protecting from their slow decay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 12. 3. So we need 4 dice for this again. Oh, this is going to go up pretty quickly actually then. As opposed to... yeah, this one needs 6 dice, right? I think we'll probably work on this one first then. We didn't have the middle thing where they needed supplies though. But we put the 4 in here, that turns immediately to a 6. Yeah, we'll put 4 good. We only need 3 more. Oh, damn. This is when it doesn't feel worth it because we end up wasting a dice. If we get neutral. 3 and 1. What else are we going to do with them? I think that's it for here today then. If we go... what I want to do is check my garden. Whoop, that's not it. Rico! That's who I was talking about. The fruiting bodies are appearing. Yeah, see? But again, we wanted to use good, yeah. Roll caps, that's that one. We wanted to use the good dice here too, so that we can get the rare mushrooms rather than just getting these ones. So we also don't want to use bad dice here. Wait, how many? It's a +2, so that'll turn into a 5. Could still be neutral. All we need to do is some scrap today. Let's just spend this 3 on... We might be due. We might be due a positive coin flip. Like, there's just no point in doing this one at all. God damn it! The goddamn coin flips! Waste, absolute waste. Because now if we get a 3 and a 3, we still need to do another goddamn dice. Wasted. That's okay. We can use our 1. Is it here? Yeah, here to get our +2 energy. And then we can just sleep here. Use a scrap to make sure that we keep all of our dice. You know what? I'm going to use 2 of these. Just in case I forget tomorrow. We would like to keep 2. Okay, that's good. And that's it. For the day. Right? Unless I've forgotten something, which I don't think I have. So the scrap ship should have left today. So it'll be a while before that one comes back in. Okay. No, I thought the 3 was better than it was. We've got 3 good dice there, so let's just... Oh, that's enough, isn't it? No. Yes, it is. What else would we have done with that 3 is the thing, like... Might as well. Ha. You know what? Why don't we just do the 3 here and we can use this on a different place? I think that works. Of course we got the positive outcome. Fuck you, game. That's fine. Right, Aki. You and Aki stand side by side at the viewing window in silence. The dust swirls, and you glimpse the twisted root systems of the steppe silk through the ochre haze. After all these cycles, you feel a strange connection to a world on which you have never set foot. Aki shifts from foot to foot. She seems restless, eager to speak but unsure of what to say. Dust houses look good. Aki smiles at you warmly. They do. She pauses and turns back to the window. What is the value of all this? She asks suddenly. Of preserving a world we have left behind. History, heritage, conservation. It's conservation, isn't it? It's not history, it's because it's still in here. Heritage is a yeah as well. Conservation though. Aki is silent for a moment. These creatures should be protected, yes. But for us, their conservation is conditional. We keep them alive because we need to use them. I can't pretend we are conservators when we harvest as much as we are able. Oh. Okay, whoops, heritage then. Aki paces away, lost in thought. I'm grateful to you for helping protect the dust houses, for ensuring their slide into decay is delayed, even averted, but now I find myself at an impasse. The stability of the dust houses changed things. It makes me aware of how blinkered we've been. Aki stops and looks at you, her posture somewhat different somehow. If the ecosystems of steppe, if its people, cannot grow to meet the future, why preserve it? She frowns. Are we just slaves to the preservation of what came before? Not slaves, inheritors. You can still grow with that. Aki nods. But the weight of this inheritance is heavy. I mean, the planet's still out there. It feels so soon to be talking like this. Aki comes close, holding your hands in hers. We must change. We must change to live. She smiles. I have seen that in you. The steppe, these people, this ship, should serve more than heritage, than history. They should serve the future. She takes a breath. There are those in the flotilla that need clothes, that need food, that can benefit from the gifts of the steppe's ecosystem. I want you to invite them. Can you do that for me? Of course. I know that Sol sent you, she smiles. You can tell him Aki, captain of the Wind's Long Shadow, invites all the people of the flotilla to come. Why am I questioning captain? I will. I mean, we didn't know she was captain, I guess. She nods. Aki steps away. You want to know about the flux, no? About its purposes, its origins, she smiles. You wish to protect your home as we could not. I'm afraid I don't have much to tell you. It is an exotic wave of sorts, an energy that passes through matter. It shifts the very charged particles which run through our electric systems. It is possible to shield against, as you would radiation, as we have done with the dust houses, but only while it's weak. The flux event here was much like the first ones we felt on Ember's Steppe. Localized, destructive, but bearable. But in time, its strength grew. I don't know if it will be the same here, but... She pauses. It's coming from the center of the system, from the close orbit of Helion star H1. Oh. That is all we could uncover. The close orbit of Helion star. What does it mean? Like a planet that's orbiting or a satellite that's orbiting the sun? Oh, it's coming from the sun itself. I'm not sure. Unsure of what to add. I'm sorry I cannot offer more, but you are always welcome on this ship. She smiles. I hope I will see you when the others come. She squeezes both your hands. I hope this ship, these dust houses, can be more than a museum. I did say it was a museum, didn't I? I hope they can be at home. A home. Do you know what the other thing I was thinking though? You know Lem and Mina? Remember how Lem was wanting Mina to be able to experience rain and stuff like that? We should bring Mina to the dust houses. She'd love it. With this, she turns and leaves, and you feel that word, home, resonating within you like a struck bell. The thing is, it's just if this flux is literally coming from the star itself, there's nothing we can do about that except try and adapt to it. And we're not that adaptable. We're human. Well, I mean, we're a robot, I guess, but as a species, like, in space, there's only so much we can adapt to. Scary. But yeah, is the sun gonna go nova? Because that is, I mean, we might as well just enjoy the time that we've got left if that's the case. Let's spend this number 5 here. And this is just what we've got left to chip away at. Just before I do that, let me check here. This should have 2 filled in now. Yes, it does. So now we're just gonna hammer this one. This one's been the one that's needed the most. Which I guess makes sense because they were the most resistant. Well, they are the most resistant. You take a handful of jobs and work through them, sharing tips and chatting with the crews. You can feel them warming to you. Oh, beautiful. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more good dice here. We might not get it tomorrow, but we should definitely get it before Peak's research is complete, which is nice. So let's then... We are running low on scrap, but it's okay. Let's just rest. Let's have some scrap. Just, we don't need it today, but this is just in case I forget to do it one day. It doesn't make a difference if we have this or this tomorrow, but at least it gives me a margin for error. And then let's end the cycle. We can eat tomorrow. Or if we have a 1 dice, we use that. Three? If we re-roll, we could do this today. We could maybe do this today. Let's see. Pilgrim. Nope. Docking axis. Come on, singers. Let's get you assisted, baby. So that'll get us here. The next one will get us here. Alright, everybody. Send me your lucky dice vibes, please. We're re-rolling. Oh, we got it. I love it. Okay. And that means we can spend a day stocking up on scrap before Peak's finished. Okay, continue. Although, we have to speak to this guy. I hope that he's maybe feeling a little bit better. Sleeper, Peter calls to you as you cross the axis. He is standing by the same railing as you saw him last time, and he beckons you over. Like, he has got this full attitude about the independence and the non-cooperation. And it's just such a contrast to the ship that we've just helped, where all they want to do, they have known nothing but a dying planet, and all they want to do is, well, something, you know? It's just, the contrast is wild. Like, yeah. Okay. I've been hearing things. He gives you a sidelong look. I'm gonna wait. Peter smiles. That wasn't nerves. It wasn't. I am not at all fazed by you, sir. Peter smiles. Don't be so nervous. He rubs his hands together nervously. You wait for him to speak. You know, on song, I was a teacher. He glances at you, anticipating a response. Okay, let's respond, really? Peter sighs. Oh, I can do nothing right with this guy. Don't sound so surprised. Mechanical engineering. It is an essential subject on a moon, where a single mechanical failure could mean the death of hundreds. He looks at the ground. The heat, the atmosphere, the radiation, all of it is hostile to us. My students knew this. Their work, their training was respected. As long as they were careful and respected song themselves, they could have their choice of colony placements. They were always in demand. That meant I was respected, surrounded by friends and colleagues, always able to call in favors and repay them like for like. He frowns. Song colonies are small, close-knit. We look after our own. When the flux events started hitting, colonies went dark overnight. We all knew what those kind of failures meant. Like always, we lost more people than any other of the moons. Dang. He balls his hand into tight fists. Not a single one of my students left song. Our future was cut off, just like that. My future. He flexes his hands. What am I out here? What use am I? Song is fading memory, and the systems we built there are useless outside its orbit. How am I supposed to move on from here? He looks at you, eyes steely grey and glinting. I mean, find someone to teach is the one that I really like. Because Just because he's left that place, he still has the knowledge to pass on. So I think he may, if he starts looking at it a little differently, and I mean it's difficult, it's easy to say, but maybe finding someone to teach could give him a renewed purpose. Peter pauses, thinking. You don't give up, do you, Sleeper? You just keep going. Peter shakes his head. You remind me of a student of mine, one who entered the program from one of the smaller colonies. They didn't have the advantages of some of the others, but they were stubborn. Stubborn as hell. By the end of the program, they were the most skilled of their peers. They didn't get the best assignment, maybe because they didn't spend much time making the kind of connections that would help you get there. But that didn't matter, because I knew they would make the best of anything they set themselves to. Peter is smiling now, buoyed up a little by memory. Singers are stubborn, Sleeper. We aren't going to change easily. We won't forgive easily, or take help easily. But we'll hold strong. You can count on us for that. I know, I get it. I do get it. It's just, you can be too stubborn sometimes, is all. Peter stands from the railing. When you see Sol again, you can tell him that. You can tell him how the crews of Ember Song operate. Tell him we will resist. If that means resisting Hearth's imperialist ambitions, so be it. If it means resisting the Flux, so be it. And if it means to, as you have, help others resist those same pressures, so be it. That is what I wanted to hear. Oh, that's a great speech. I love this. That is fantastic. Oh, that makes all of the previous conversations we've had with this guy worth it. I love it. He's like, I mean, these are boundaries. We're helping, but we're not being controlled. I get it. But also, the real enemy here is the Flux. And, help others resist those same pressures. Peter, my man. I want a high five so bad. Peter smiles. And then, tell him to leave us alone. He turns, his step lighter, and heads off towards the center of the Axis' hub. Okay, that was good. He has to get in at the end, then tell him to leave us alone. But I mean, you can still take supplies. What if you guys communicated about what supplies you needed? That might help. And then we could also, like, Half could also take supplies off you if that makes you feel any better. Favor for favor. Look out for one another. I know he's not quite there yet, but I really liked that speech that he gave. Alright, Sol. When you arrive at the bridge of the Pilgrim Seed, Sol is waiting for you. You wouldn't believe the messages that have come through the past few cycles, Sleeper. He smiles. The ship from Steppe has sent a goodwill gesture. A whole cache of supplies from their own farms. He smiles. I'm not sure how we'll use them, but the gesture is a welcome one. Song, meanwhile, are apparently accepting supplies again, although a little reticently, if I may say so. Sol smiles. I don't expect them to change anytime soon, it should be said. And what I'm wondering, Sleeper, is what part you had in all this. Sol eyes you, waiting for an answer. I helped where I could. Doesn't that parallel what we said when we first met this guy? I've come to expect that of you, Sleeper. He smiles. You look at Sol, his eyes bright and eager, and wonder what he sees in you. Are you a tool to be used, or not to be used, of an ally? It can be hard to tell. I want to show you something. Sol squeezes your shoulder, turning you to face the lift. He leads you along the axis of the ship towards the engines, the clanking of his suit accompanied by the constant hammering and welding that fills the echoey bulkheads of the Pilgrim Seed at all hours. With the cordon lifted and the shuttles able to go out to salvage scrap and barter for supplies, the ship has become a place of transformation, moving towards some state yet to be revealed to you. You look at Sol. What is his plan here? What is he preparing the pilgrim seed for? Or are his sharp eyes simply focused on making it through the next cycle? Suddenly, Sol stops in front of a huge bulkhead door, like the seal on the front of a dry dock hanger. He signals to someone in a cabin high up, attached to the wall, and they begin the process of opening it. The Pilgrim Seed was built as a short-range freight carrier, you know? The amber warning lights on the bulkhead door send spinning shadows across Sol's face. We built it to ship the entire harvest from thousands of farms to the silos at Passerol. So this was meant to be to stay on half. This wasn't even meant to be intergalactic. Or whatever it's called. Interplanetary. When we realized we'd need to leave, it was the biggest ship we could muster. Sol wraps a metal plate. And somehow she's carried us all the way here. I'm gonna ask we. We know that he's the captain of this ship, so... And that he works on the farms, maybe? I'm gonna say we, because I want to know who does that entail. Farmers, mostly, from outside the city, and the edges. He flexes his shoulder beneath his suit. We saw it coming first, I guess. Knew it was time. Others didn't want to believe. That's funny, because you would think it would be the more urban area that would have noticed more. But, I guess the, agricultural area has more perspective on things, seeing things from the outside. I was a farmer, had a whole load of land and people to run it, and my people helped convert this place for the long trip. He looks at his feet. Others led, organized the evacuation, and debated the plan. I'm gonna stay silent because he's still talking. None of those folks made it. Sol rubs his forehead. We were out in the black a long time before we got here, Sleeper. Things happen. The upshot is, I was chosen to take over. I guess my crew trusted me, and I knew the ship. I argued, reminded them I'm no leader, and that I'm sick. But well, when service chooses you... A loud klaxon sounds, indicating the bulkhead doors are ready to open, so the original people all died. Damn. They groan as they slide back, the metal squeals echoing through the vast ship, bouncing off its hard-plated walls. At first, all you see is darkness, then the lights go on, in huge strips that stretch back as far as you can see. The space in front of you, a vast bay, bigger than any you've ever seen, is empty. When we left Hearth, we didn't have the time or resources to convert the entire ship. Sol begins leading you into the massive space. So much of the freight space we sealed away, shut down. But now, we have time, we have resources. We stabilized here, at least for the moment. Sol turns to you. Now it's the time we make use of all this. Ooh, what are you planning? So they've just got this big, huge area that would have been storage, like for shipping things. What are you planning? What do you think happens next for the Eye, Sleeper? Sol sighs. The flux has already hit one part of the station, and from what I know, it'll hit again. On Hearth, we lost everything. Are you gonna be wanderers? You gonna make this a self-sustaining ship? There isn't much time, Sleeper, but there is enough time to do something. Think of the number of people we can fit on here. Are we gonna move the Eye into here? Oh my god, think of the number of people we can fit on here. The farming stacks, the housing, hell, we can plant some of those mushrooms you love so much. This is the way forward, the only way. We need to fill this ship with able bodies and head for the starward belt. Jeez. You know? He might not be wrong. if there's nothing we can do about the flux, you know, maybe we can outrun it. I thought the eye was your destination, or we can't leave. I don't like either of these, but because, like, clearly the destination has now moved. It's not safe here. It was, until the flux hit here. Now it's just another stop. I'm glad the chance to resupply and salvage, but we need to go further out. I want you to help me. You know the eye, you have connections, and you can work hard. I've seen it. Soul meets your eye. I know you are like me, Sleeper. You didn't choose service, but it chose you. Hey, no, I'm gonna ask. This feels positive. Can this work? Like, I know I wasn't ready to leave the eye before any other time we've had the option. But also, there wasn't this looming threat that it was all gonna die. Can this work? It has to, Sleeper. There's nothing else. I know it's a lot to think about, Sleeper, trust me. Soul begins to lead you back out of the bay. But what can we... Well, think of what we can do here. The flotilla can't last forever. We need more than just farmers to make this work. We need to build a new world for ourselves. I've heard that out there in the belt there are people who've been setting up since the collapse, making something of their own. That's our future, tucked away in those rocks, far from all of this. Soul sighs. I didn't bring my people here just to let them die somewhere new. Yeah, that's it. That's the sentence that's like, that sums up why this is no longer their destination. Okay. Soul crosses back over the threshold of the bay and signals for the operator to close it up. The door groans and Soul waits for it to stop. Think about it, Sleeper. Soul claps an arm on your back. But don't wait too long. This is happening soon. And he leaves you there, in the silence of this vast bay, your head spinning with the thought of leaving the eye. And we got an upgrade point too. Okay, that gives us 3, which means we can get one more thing up, but we can wait and like choose, because now all it does is give us better dice rolls. So we can wait and see what we need it for whenever we have our next intense sort of wait. So now we're just waiting on Peak another 2 days. Peak is researching something to do with the flux event. Totally absorbed. Okay. So at this point, we're kind of done here. I wonder if after this is the end of this chapter. No, episode. No. What's it called? I think they're called episodes. This DLC. Potentially. Which would mean that the 3rd chapter, or episode, or whatever it's called, is about helping to get this ship space ready. Like, we're gonna help them build it into something that's gonna sustain itself. Oh, it's really cool. Right. Okay then. Let's see. We do have 1 dice left. We also need some energy, so I think we can just use it here. Get our energy with this dice, because what else are we going to do with a 1? And then it's just we can't fit everyone from the eye on this ship, and I feel like I would be abandoning everything. But that's like, that's how they must have felt when they left their home planet. It's not an easy thing. But at this point, what's the choice? Stay and die with the people? Yeah, it's all very stressful. This is why I don't want to live in space. Never ever am I going to live in space. I want to be on a planet with a ground, with oxygen, and air, and water. You know? Having said that, then you have the danger of nature, so everything is scary when it comes to things like that. Let's do a repair just in case I forget next time. And then when we come back for the next episode, we are gonna be just passing the next 2 days so that Pig can complete their research. We'll probably do some scrap farming, and then what? Then we're probably gonna help Sol create an absolute amazing ship, and then maybe leave with them, maybe not, I don't know. But I'm thinking this is gonna be near the end of this DLC, this one, but there's still another one. So, alright then guys, that is it for the day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time for some more Citizen Sleeper. Goodbye.